In this short video, which is part of a series designed to highlight how ServiceNow customers can start to identify process improvement opportunities using the process mining evaluation projects that have been made available in every instance as of the Xanadu release. In the Yokohama release, we've added 2 additional use cases, one for HR case management and one for customer case management. In this session, we'll focus on customer case management as a use case. These focused projects are designed to give you examples of where the value of process mining specifically for customers using customer case workflows. Common focus areas include improving customer satisfaction, retention, as well as ensuring positive experiences. And process mining can point the way and provide evidence on where to improve. We'll focus on 3 different use cases to identify examples that align to those goals, including where AI agents and automation can be leveraged for cases that are closed in a very short amount of time, idle time, as well as cases that have been reassigned multiple times, exposing multi-hop inefficiencies. So where do we start? Well, first, we're going to log into your instance and look for our process mining workspace. We'll do that by coming to our Workspaces tab and searching for the process mining workspace. And we'll bring you to this workspace. And depending on your role, you may see 1 or up to 3 evaluation projects available to you. We're going to focus today on our case evaluation project specifically, which is looking at the last 7 days of cases that have been closed with a maximum of 3,600 records to analyze. We'll also look at 2 things that change in the lifecycle of these cases, both the state as well as the assignment group. Also, for these projects, they'll be in one of 2 states, either in new or they could also be in an available state. If it's in a new state, you can always come to the 3 dots right here, open this up, and hit Mine Project Sample. So let's dive into the use cases. Now that we analyzed our customer case records for our evaluation project, we can dive in. First thing we see are a number of metrics and analytics associated with this project, including the number of records, average closure time, and even number of routes to closure for our 2,300 records. We also see average time to completion over time, distribution of records by time to completion, some good analytics right off the bat. As we scroll down, we'll also be surfaced improvement opportunities, a great way to surface where we should start focusing as well. These are born out of both rule-based and pattern-based detectors included in your evaluation project to highlight inefficiencies very, very quickly. We're not going to dive into those in this session. We'll do that in a separate session to show you how to leverage these as well. What we're going to do today is focus on how to discover idle time very quickly. We'll do that by going over to the Analyst Workbench, and let's do that. Once we click into the Analyst Workbench, we'll be visualized a process map that's been discovered for our customer cases. In this scenario, we're looking at 2 things changing in the lifecycle of a case, and that is the state of the case as well as the assignment group. So we're going to see both things visualized. We're only seeing 20% of the connections of our 2,300 cases. Remember, I had said there are 1,100 routes to closure. We're only seeing 20% of those here. If we slide the slider connections up higher, we'll see more of that complexity very, very quickly. We also see some other capabilities here in terms of slicing and dicing this data very easily. Within the evaluation project, we also include some breakdown filters allow you to look at this with different perspectives, including assignment group, channel your intake, as well as priority and category. This gives me an easy way to drill into any one of these attributes and start looking at, for example, just my email intake for my customer cases. Maybe we see an anomaly here where perhaps we want to dive in and understand why maybe self-service is taking longer than email intake. But in this area, what I really, really care about is understanding idle time. And specifically, I care about idle time between my new and work in progress. I noticed for my This view, I'm seeing 1,100 of my cases, because we're at 20% of my connections, is averaging about 12 hours. And that's not terrible, but I have a hypothesis that we have a bunch of these cases that are taking longer than that. In fact, I care about when it takes longer than a day. It's impacting our CSAT. It's impacting our ability to close these cases within the specified time we want for our cases, and ensuring our customers are happy. So how we're going to do that is change our view and focus, because I care about the state here. So I'm going to change our view specifically to state and rebuild that view. Now, in your instance, that change may take a few more moments. You'll get a pop-up saying it'll be building in the background as scheduled task. Those are listed here under this icon. You'll get a pop-up when it's complete as well. But you can see that it'll go from work in progress to complete, and you'll see that there. Now that we're looking at just the state, we want to start really diving into and building that view of just cases that were taking longer than a day. We'll do that in our advanced filters. You can see that in the bottom left, and specifically in our transition filters. And even though they're called advanced, they're super simple to build. So all we're doing here is providing a first step. In this case, it's going to be the state is new. And we care about the first occurrence specifically. Next activity is going to be eventually followed by the state is work in progress. And again, I care about the first time of it happening. But now we want to give it a time constraint. And we'll give it a first step, going to the second step, which is work in progress. And our time constraint is going to be a minimum of 1 day. And we'll hit add constraint. So now we've time bound that flow, and we'll hit apply. And the same thing will apply here. You'll get a pop-up typically that will say, hey, this is a building in the background as a scheduled task. It'll give you another dialog box that tells you it's complete as well. So now that we have, instead of 2,300 records, we now have 87 cases that have taken longer than 1 day. And in fact, what we're really seeing here is 80 cases taking more than a week, an average of a week to get those done. And just in these 80 cases, we have 2 years of inefficiency as a bucket of inefficiency, which is just 80 cases times an average of 1 week. And right from here, we can start investigating. We have a histogram that's provided to us for these 80 cases to provide and show a distribution of not just duration, but do we have any that are having multiple repetitions of that as well. And right from here, I noticed something very interesting. We have some cases that are taking 4 days, but we also have some that are taking as much as a month. And we can drill into any one of these to start understanding and looking and diving into those cases that are taking extreme amounts of time. And then we can start investigating as well to understand what is causing this. Within your instances, you'll have the ability to show records and look at those records specifically. In fully licensed environments, you also have other investigative tools like work note analysis for the transitions, which analyzes the agent's work notes to provide some indications of why it took so long to go into that work in progress or whatever state it may be. Requester intent, which analyzes the short description or even description of the cases to give clusters of evidence of what caused this as well. And root cause analysis, another way to provide key contributors of what caused this, such as an assignment group type or perhaps a case type. So we'll dive into the work in progress. And again, what I'll do here and what I really care about is the records. So in your evaluation project, the records may show some great evidence as well. And right from here, we can see some interesting things. We can look and see that a lot of these cases, I'm seeing a lot of SSO reset. Maybe we can do better there in terms of providing an automation or categorization or a way to get that to the right team or escalate them in a way that makes sense for our customers. So an easy way to get into and drive to a specific outcome in terms of idle time is to use those transition filters to understand why and where they're happening. And again, once we understand these 87 cases, we also still have those breakdown filters to start diving into that as well. We notice right away that most of these are coming from email. And which assignment groups are these coming from mostly or going to mostly? It's support IT. Right? So each one of these can be drilled into as well. We also have the ability of using variation analysis to start understanding, which steps are these taking once they get into work in progress as well. One of the nice things about this is you can do, as we built this transition filter, and you can see right from here, we have 2 applied filters, and those being, we're looking specifically at the state of the case, as well as that transition we built, going from new to work in progress, longer than 1 day. And if we want to save this view, we can, and we can do that right from here. Save as a new filter and give it a name, and it gets saved. And that persists. So this way you can use that in the future as well. Thank you for joining, and look forward to other sessions that we'll be providing for customer case. Thank you.